Tesla waves, unique for this modality, elevate the frequency of human consciousness and enable students to create communication with clients on the level of the conscious, subconscious, and integrative mind, though they were not aware of such abilities before. In the quest to explore miracle healings, Anya's book, Tesla Metamorphosis, Heal and Evolve, reveals new knowledge. The answers were found in pioneering scientific research and also in ancient wisdom. Anya is the founder of Tesla Metamorphosis and an internationally recognized teacher, healer, and author. In this talk, Anya will introduce you to amazing new healing frequencies and teach you how to harness the power that legendary inventor Nikola Tesla worked with. Please welcome, all the way from Sydney, Australia, Anya.
Thank you. What I usually do when I do talks, I ask one question. And the question is, do you know who is Nikola Tesla? Is there anybody who doesn't know? Who doesn't know? 1, 2. All right, so I'm not going to surprise many people, just a couple. And this changed since I started doing this work, because at the beginning, the majority had no idea who is Nikola Tesla, and some heard about Tesla car, but were wondering where is this strange name coming from. So for those who don't know, a surprise. Nikola Tesla is the man who invented everything modern technology is based on, from alternating current, radio, remote control, wireless transmission of energy and information, AC motors, you have them in all your house appliances, robotics, lasers, X-rays. But the reason why not many people knew about him in Western world is because he discovered how we could use free energy. And that would take all power from the hands of those who still rule the world. So that's why his laboratory was burned to the ground, and his inventions are under names of other people. But nowadays you can find more and more information about Nikola Tesla, especially on internet. And so this is the man. I was brought up in Yugoslavia, in former Yugoslavia. That's a country that was there once upon a time. And we learned about Tesla's inventions, but something what we didn't learn is about his spirituality and his interest for human health. Tesla was genius because he was spiritual. He was aware that energy is not just a mechanical movement of particles. He was aware when he was working with energy that he was actually working with this universal consciousness, which he used to call active ether. And now they call it the field. Or you can choose your name, universe, God. But anyway, this is this universal consciousness, and each of us, we are undividable part of this universal consciousness. Have you heard about Swami Vivekananda? Anybody? Right. Well, there was mutual respect between Swami Vivekananda and Nikola Tesla. And thanks to this Swami, we have a letter he wrote to India, to his colleague, after visiting Tesla's laboratory, where he wrote that in different colors of light in Tesla's laboratory, He could see Shiva and Vishnu and all their gods. And he wrote something very interesting, that Tesla communicated with his electricity, giving it orders. So it means that Tesla was aware that he was dealing with consciousness. And that is why this man, who invented everything modern technology is based on, stated, the day science starts examining non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all previous centuries of its existence. So the other question is, what connection could be between Tesla as scientist and a healing modality, which is Tesla Metamorphosis? Why we have that privilege to have Tesla's name in the name of modality? That is because we can access Tesla waves. What are Tesla waves? Tesla didn't call them Tesla waves, he called them non-Hertzian waves, and he wrote about those waves in his Canadian patents, where he explained that Hertzian and electromagnetic waves need to be decreased to minimum, and then those waves, as paradoxical as it could sound, but they get stronger with the distance. He explained also that those waves are multidimensional and that they are in the domain of a new physics. So that is why we can't measure them, because we measure energy with hertzes. So here on the screen, on the left side, you can see Hertzian waves. They lose the strength with the distance, and Tesla waves, they get stronger with the distance. So the next question would be, and how could we be sure that we can access those Tesla waves? Well, thanks to a special camera invented by Dr. Harry Oldfield from London, now we can see them. We can't measure them, but we can see them, because this camera is more precise than Kirian camera. Different frequencies of energy are presented with different colors and different codes in the computer. So when Tesla happened to me, I didn't introduce myself. When people ask me, how did you discover Tesla Metamorphosis? I didn't discover it, it discovered me. Well, I was doing Reiki for 11 years and teaching Reiki as a Reiki master, and then I was doing reconnective healing for 8 years and assisting on Dr. Eric Pearl's seminars. And that summer day, it happened to be 10th of July. And why is 10th of July so important? Tesla's birthday. I wasn't aware that that was 10th of July. I wasn't aware that it was Tesla's birthday. I happened to be in Belgrade, which is capital of Serbia. And, you know, Tesla is originally Serbian, born in Croatia. And I rented some place to work from. I live in Sydney, Australia, but at that time I was for a short time in Belgrade. And so I came earlier to this place for no reason, and there is always a reason. And I was just standing by the window and enjoying the dance of morning sun on the roofs of Belgrade. And then something beautiful happened. 2 completely white doves came from 2 sides in half a circle, straight to my window, picked the window with their beaks, moved their wings like 2 ballerinas following the same choreography, and flew away. And that filled me with some joy. I felt that something very important happened, but I didn't have an idea what should I connect it to. And then after that, a client came, and I started doing session, believing that I'm doing reconnective healing. And I heard the voice in my head, Tesla healing. You need to reconstruct Tesla healing. I'm a psychologist. Those voices we call schizophrenia. So my first reaction was, what a nonsense, like Tesla and healing. You know, we learned about Tesla's inventions, but Tesla and healing, and who am I to reconstruct something a genius Tesla invented? So I just couldn't get any idea, you know, what was the meaning of this message. I continued the session. The voice came again. Tesla healing. You need to reconstruct Tesla healing. But I still couldn't understand what to reconstruct Tesla healing. And to make a long story short, the longer version is in the book. That day I had 9 coincidences telling me that I needed to do something connected to Nikola Tesla. And it took me 9 months to first of all accept that. I must admit I'm just a human. So at times I was going in and out, and am I just imagining that? And if you read the book, when I was writing the book, I actually realized that I was prepared for this, what I'm doing now, much before I was aware of that. But so at the end, I simply knew. I didn't have tangible explanation, but I knew, yes, I'm doing something that is different and it's connected to Nikola Tesla. But I didn't know how to explain that to you. And then I heard about this special camera, and I was about to buy the ticket to London to meet Dr. Oldfield and to see whether I'll find out something more. And just at that time, you know, when you're at the right path, how universe put all the puzzles together, I received a report from Serbia. They discovered that one mountain is actually a pyramid. And that what you're looking at is this pyramid photographed with this PIP camera. So you can notice on the top those purple colors. And when scientists were trying to measure the energy, they discovered that the energy was weaker on the very top of the mountain and that it was stronger away from the mountain. So they assumed that this mountain, actually this pyramid, is receiving energy from somewhere from space. But then again, just by chance, in this group of scientists was engineer Marjanovic, who managed to reconstruct Tesla amplifier with extra coil, which radiates those waves that we now call Tesla waves. And so he had, by chance, this amplifier in the car, so he switched it on to demonstrate to other scientists how there are frequencies of energy that can get stronger with distance. So you can notice that on the PIP camera of this amplifier, that colors around the amplifier, those purple colors, are identical as on the top of the pyramid. So when I saw all that, I decided to contact Dr. Professor Lyubo Ristovsky, who made those photos, and to invite him to make photos of Tesla Metamorphosis session to check whether my fairy tale, which started with 2 doves coming on my window, has any truth. And he came and he was doing photos one day, the other day, And the third day he brought the photos and he said, look, identical colors that appear around the amplifier, and it's not just colors, those are codes in the computer, are present during the session of Tesla Metamorphosis. So that is how we have colorful on white, that we can access those Tesla waves. Even more, because Professor Ristovsky calls himself an orthodox scientist, so he checked all the data at the Institute for Bioenergetic Research in Belgrade. He checked on internet, he contacted Dr. Harry Oldfield, and he states that Tesla Metamorphosis is the only modality where we can access Tesla waves. So on the left you see Reiki, how they do it in US with no physical touch. On the right you see reconnective healing, photographed with PIP camera. You can see that those purple colors that present Tesla waves are not present in those images. So, in other words, the difference among modalities is not in how we wave our hands or where we place our hands. The difference is in what frequencies of energy we can access. So, in other words, I already told you, when we talk about energy, we are actually talking about universal consciousness. So depending on, I don't know what, but I guess on the frequency of our consciousness, here around us is huge quantity of all different frequencies. Why we couldn't access them earlier? Don't ask me, I don't know. But I think that as we elevate our consciousness, there is more available for us. And that is why I finished this book with the sentence, this story is not finished yet. Why? Because there is always more. Whether I'll come to it or somebody of you, we don't know. But there is always more. So that was the explanation. I hope that was a clear explanation why we have that privilege to have Tesla's name in the name of modality. Because we can access Tesla waves. So more about the modality. In Tesla Metamorphosis, we use these frequencies, a bandwidth of different frequencies, including Tesla waves, in 3 ways. And those are Tesla Healing Metamorphosis, Tesla Soul Communication, and Tesla Light Body Metamorphosis. Tesla Healing Metamorphosis, you can guess it's about healing. And our clients report healings from many illnesses that are labeled incurable, like cancer, AIDS, chronic fatigue syndrome, lupus. They even report healings from birth deformities and physically damaged spine. If you go onto website teslametamorphosis.com and you go on to testimonials, you can hear a mother of 21-year-old girl saying that the doctor of her daughter was amazed how only in 2 months, since he saw her previously, one side of her rib cage, which was much smaller and indent, developed to be equal to the other side, and her spine was almost completely straight. So when I talk about that, some people think I lie, some people think that's a miracle. So in this book, I try to look for explanations of those things that people call miracles, because I do not believe in miracles. This is all nature. This is all natural. It is just question whether at certain state we are capable to understand some things and to explain some things. So, also what is important with Tesla Healing Metamorphosis, there is no need to drag clients for 10, 20 sessions without knowing whether there will be some results or not. We always recommend 3 sessions because most of the time it is obvious after the 3rd session whether there are significant changes or not, and most of the time 3 sessions are enough. All right, so again, back to this miracle, which is not miracle. When I was looking, I did a lot of research trying to explain different miracles connected to Tesla Metamorphosis, and I came across Dr. Pjotr Garjajev. He is the member of Russian Academy of Science and New York Academy of Science, and he did research on DNA. And what he discovered is that our DNA follows some rules similar to the rules of human language. Somehow he calls biological grammar and syntax. And in his experiment, he managed to get a salamander lizard from an embryo of frog without any surgical intervention, without cutting out or replacing a single gene, just by changing the information. So that is why he states, that DNA can be influenced and reprogrammed with the frequencies of energy. So when we go back to this case where a young girl who had birth deformity had her rib cage reconstructed, her DNA received the information how a healthy rib cage and lungs should be, and they developed. We were not doing anything clever, we were waving our hands, but that is what the result was. Okay, on this left side you see a chart made by engineer Boris Petrovich. It's not that dynasty of Petrovich is working with Tesla. Actually, it's a common surname like Smith in English. So you can see on this chart that Tesla created Tesla Coil according to the energy centers in human body, according to chakras, because he was watching the nature. He said, I didn't invent anything, everything was there, I have just found it. So, and Otto Warburg, a Nobel Prize winner, he said that Tesla Coil is a molecular enhancer and that there is a tiny battery in each cell. So when we in Tesla Metamorphosis, we don't use any coils, we don't use any machines. We access those Tesla waves and other frequencies of energy directly, how Tesla would say, from active ether. And now they would say from the field. So it seems that Tesla Metamorphosis practitioner actually acts as Tesla Coil. Science discovered that every living cell radiates light. Our DNA produces biophotons. Those are light particles. And in Tesla Metamorphosis, those frequencies are working toward bringing that light back into balance. Because with a young and healthy cell, this light is vibrant and strong, and with old and sixth cell, this light diminishes. So frequencies of Tesla metamorphosis are bringing that light back into balance. And once the balance is regained, the healing takes place. What is interesting, at Tesla's time lived Dr. Robert Becker. And you can find his book on Amazon. He was doing experiments with Tesla coils. And in his book, he documented how small animals could reconstruct a cut-off tail or leg when they were exposed to the frequencies of energy of Tesla coils. And he even mentions children younger than 11 that they could regrow the tip of their finger if the cut was sharp and clean. So that was in 19th century. Isn't that interesting that it's not used in medicine nowadays? Yeah, haha, that's funny to tears. All right, so this is about Tesla healing metamorphosis. I mean, I could talk more and more about it, but we have limited time. And I'm aware that majority of people get interested for Tesla metamorphosis because of those healing results. But I personally believe that even more important than healings is the effect of Tesla waves on human consciousness. Because we have chosen to take human shape at the time when humanity needs to move to another dimension. And in order to be able to move to another dimension, we need to elevate our consciousness. So, first of all, I think that this, what we do in Tesla Soul Communication, proves that. So, first I'll explain to you what is Tesla Soul Communication, and then I'll explain to you why I think it is connected to the evolution of human consciousness. Tesla Soul Communication is a healing method where a practitioner creates communication with clients on the level of conscious, subconscious, and integrative mind. And why would we do that? We all have some stuff that we don't want to think about, actually we want to forget. And what we do, we push that in our subconscious mind. But the problem is that it works from there. It affects our reactions, it affects our health. And in psychology, by the way, I am a psychologist as well, and in psychiatry, we use free associations and hypnotherapy to help people to bring that stuff from subconscious to the conscious level, because once it is on the conscious level, then we can deal with it and we can overcome the problem. I find Tesla Soul Communication even more effective because, first of all, we get to the information much faster in a much simpler way. And also, both hypnotherapy and free associations, they reach to the level of subconscious mind. But when we work with Tesla Soul Communication, we might also reach the level of integrative mind, which is the level of the soul. So what does it mean? It means that even karmic healing can be reached, and that's huge. Right. So what is happening in this communication? This is communication beyond words. So we communicate through meanings, pictures, and emotions. And there is no misunderstanding. Language is not a barrier. So practitioner can work with somebody who speaks Chinese, Lebanese, Hungarian, or any other language that he doesn't know, because language is not the barrier. We communicate through meanings, pictures, and emotions, and then we translate it into language. So that's the purpose of Tesla soul communication. And I was getting messages, you know, those voices in my head, that I should teach that. And I was in trouble. I mean, how could I teach that, I thought? Yeah, how could I be sure that other people will be able to create this communication? Yes, I can do it, but can other people do it? It was my arrogant fear. But the messages were persistent, so I made the first seminar in Sydney, where I live, with 3 people that I knew. So they were my guinea pigs. And the more tasks I gave them, the better they were. And something interesting happened on the second day of the seminar. Maz, one of the students, she was reading that what she got through the healing, and we all had teary eyes. There is a lot of emotion very often on that at that seminar, because in subconscious mind there are a lot of suppressed emotions. So it was a beautiful day in Sydney. Sky blue as nowhere else in the world. I don't know whether it's because of ozone holes or because the atmosphere is clear. So it was sunny day. All of the sudden, the clouds accumulated and it started lightning. And all 4 of us, as if somebody commanded, we turned toward windows and said, "Hi, Tesla," because Tesla's nickname was the Master of Lightning. And in 5-10 minutes, the clouds disappeared. There was no drop of rain, and I took it as an omen. Yes, I should teach that. And in Europe, where I started teaching earlier, in some seminars I would have like 70 people on this second seminar where I teach Tesla soul communication. And they were all different educational background, from doctors of science, medical doctors, to plumbers, farmers, Reiki masters, and each of them was capable of creating this communication with the client on the level of conscious, subconscious, and integrative mind, and they were not aware of such their abilities before. And the other thing is, I don't do any attunements. Are there some Reiki people here? Yeah. So you know how you attune your students with chakra and all those symbols. And no, I don't do any attunements. And yet, when the auras of students are photographed after Tesla Metamorphosis 1 seminar, those photos are showing huge shift in their energy field and in their consciousness level. So that what you are looking at are auras of students after finishing Tesla Metamorphosis 1 seminar. And you can notice they all have those purple colors in their auras. Professor Ristovsky named us Teslians, and he said that this color is not characteristic for human aura at all. So I already mentioned Swami Vivekananda, because Tesla once said that his teaching is the only theory that could entertain modern science. I decided to attend classes of teaching of Swami Vivekananda, And there I learned that yogis have a special meditation which has the purpose of elevating consciousness. This meditation starts from basic chakra, which is red, up to the 7 chakras, and finishes with crown chakra, which is purple in color. So, and Swami, who was teaching us, he said that not every yogi would manage to reach the level of crown chakra. So it seems that those Tesla waves simultaneously bring us to the consciousness level of crown chakra, and that was the only explanation that I could find. How comes that people who were not clairvoyant or didn't have any experiences like this before, all of the sudden are capable of creating communication with their clients on the level of conscious, subconscious, and integrative mind? The third thing that we do is Tesla light body metamorphosis. This is actually a very old process. What is new is that when we do it, we use Tesla waves. This is a process which has the purpose of your personal growth on physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level. So, as we have blood streams through our body, we also have streams of energy through our body, and that's called axiotonal lines. And those lines are used in acupuncture. When I was writing the book, I tried to trace the origin of this method, and I came across this, that in Jewish tradition Kabbalah, they do something that they call the tree of life. Also in kinesiology, they use those streams of energy in acupuncture and acupressure. There is Japanese tradition as well, similar to this. So, what is there anybody who read the book? No, nobody. Oh, yes, one. All right. I just can't mention everything, but a year before those 2 doves came to my window and all those 9 coincidences happened, I received one channel text from Estella from Cancellation Grui, trying to explain to me that this, what I do, is what she is talking about. But at that time, I couldn't get it. I was trying to connect it to reconnective healing, and it didn't match. Now I'm aware that all theory and philosophy behind Tesla Metamorphosis is actually in this text. And Estella states that humans once had 13 DNA strands, and contemporary science, Western science, is aware that there are some strands that, according to them, are not in use. So you can find expression junk DNA on internet. Those strands are codes of information and light. So could you imagine if we had 13, and now we have 2, or recently they discovered a cell with 4 DNA strands, for how much information and light we are missing. This process that we call Tesla light body metamorphosis helps those DNA strands to reconstruct. Remember how I had the message, you need to reconstruct those DNA strands that are not in complete use, and to reconnect them to the DNA of planet Earth and of the universe. And that enables us to reach our potentials, to reach our optimal blueprint. It helps us follow the changes that our mother planet Earth is going through at the moment. So that is why this is a very useful process, and it's recommended to everybody. After having Tesla light body metamorphosis, people report that they changed, and as they changed, other people changed in relation with them. They also report that everything's clearer to them, and that it's easier for them to make decisions. And whenever I talk about that, I remember one scientist who came all excited, putting some figures and some drawing, explained to me that finally he came to the conclusion, and he was looking for the results for 10 years. And also one professor from university who said, all of a sudden I became the most popular prof on the uni, and even to myself, my lectures seemed to be more inspirational than ever before. So that is what is happening when we do Tesla light body metamorphosis. And Dr. Pjotr Garjajev made the research, and he examined even those so-called non-coded DNA strands, and he discovered the traces of that biological language even on those non-coded DNA strands. And also he made an experiment where he had put a DNA in a vacuum tube, and then he pointed a laser light on it, and laser light started spinning in the shape of the energy field of DNA. And then he physically removed the DNA, but the laser light continued spinning. So what does it mean? It means that even when physical DNA is not present, there is something there. So in Tesla light body metamorphosis, that process, which is done once in a lifetime in 2 consecutive days, helps us to reconstruct those DNA strands so that we can use them more fully. And now some new phenomena connected to Tesla metamorphosis. I couldn't not to laugh because I use the word phenomena because this Professor Istovsky, he liked using word phenomenon for everything that he can't scientifically explain. So I joke and I say it's phenomenal how many phenomena is connected to Tesla metamorphosis. So one of the phenomena is that sometime during the session we can see light around clients. And if this light is wider, we can even notice some movement within that light. It reminds me of a dance of seagrass. So there are scientists like Dr. Pope, a German scientist, and some Japanese scientists. They state that human body literally glows. Only this light is 10,000 times lower than the light visible to naked eye. So it seems that when we are exposed to those frequencies of energy, which we call Tesla, including Tesla waves, our DNA produces more biophotons to the extent that this light is visible to naked eye. Those who know about Nikola Tesla, maybe you know that he was quite a showman and that there were cases when he was standing on the stage and radiating light from his body. And there is an article in New York Sun where he explains the scientist radiating bluish fluorescent light, and when he would open his fingers, then like laser lights were coming out of his fingers. Also, when he made an experiment on Long Island and fired kilometers over the Atlantic, newspaper wrote how all people in this area were radiating some bluish fluorescent light, and they seemed as ghosts to each other. So that is why I believe that this light, though this light that we see is whitish, it's not bluish, that it's the result of effect of Tesla waves. Here are some PIP camera photos, and you can notice those white lights. And here is the shadow of my hand that we were not using reflectors. So because the photos were made in sequence, it is obvious that those lights are moving around the table. We don't know for sure what those lights are, but our clients very often report that they can hear people walking around the table or running around the table, or they feel more people present in the room, as if like practitioners at the same time on one side and on the other. So maybe those are some light beings that are helping us in this process. And that what you're looking at is an empty massage table. So there is no client, there is no practitioner, but you can notice that those frequencies of energy are already there. And what does it prove? According to me, it proves that we are dealing with consciousness. So our intention to do healing on that table already brought them there. We didn't have to go and pick them up from the airport. We didn't have to evoke them, call them. They just knew we have intention to do healing on that table, and they were there.
So that's not the special table?
No, it's not the special table. No, for example, if we had PIP camera here, I'm sure that we will have a lot of green and purple colors here, because very often people report healings but just by sitting in the audience and listening to this talk. So it's not a special table, it's special intention. Everything's about intention, clear and good intention. So we have clear and good intention to do healing on that table. They are there. This is me being phenomenal. Well, when we were making photos of auras of students, then, okay, well, let's make the photo of my aura. So I was first sitting on this chair, and Professor Ristovsky was watching in the computer. I've never seen that. Can you stand up? I said, yeah, I can stand up. And then he was again, I've never seen that. And I was like, oh, what is happening here? And can I see it? Yes. And I came and I said, where is my circle? He said, I don't know. Maybe it's in this suburb. Maybe it's in this city. So you see, my aura became pretty fat. Well, the thing is, when we work with these frequencies, our auras expand. So equally as our skin protects our inner tissue from infections, our auras protect us from infections of radiation and energy influences. Some students made photos of their auras with PIP camera because it's pretty easy in Belgrade. We have Professor Ristovsky. A year, 2 years later, and they still had those purple colors in their auras, and their auras expanded, became larger than they were before. Orbs. Is there anybody who doesn't know what orbs are? No, everybody knows. All right. Well, we call orbs those balls of light that appear on photos, since we are doing photos with digital cameras. And they are visible very often when you make photos of children playing or somebody meditating or somebody doing healing work. So they are quite common. And if you go home and look through your photos, I'm sure you'll notice some of orbs. But what is special with this photo? Nothing special with the photo, but what is special, all people who were in the room were able to see those orbs with their naked eyes. And the same thing happened in 5 more cities, that the whole group was able to see orbs, so we could see this orb hovering over us and one staying next to my shoulder for quite a long time. We don't know exactly what orbs are. I was trying to find out if there was some other case where all group of people was able to see the same orbs at the same time. And I failed to find that. I've just found in one book that some individuals were able to see orbs when they were in a special state of mind. So it seems that the whole group was in the special state of mind when we all could see the same orbs at the same time. And this photo is from Canada, from Kamloops. I was doing seminars there. That was my first visit with seminars to Canada. And here you can notice some colors on the wall. With naked eye we could see all rainbow colors, but here you can mostly see those purple colors. It was the same group of people, it was the same room, the same climate, but that day those colors appeared and there was no source of light in this room which would produce an effect or create this effect. So we don't know what those colors are. When I asked Professor Ristovsky, he said, oh, that is probably because a larger group of people was doing healing in this room. But I remember when I was doing, there were, I think, 30 people, not more. But when I was doing reconnective healing, there were 250 people doing healing in the room, but we still didn't see those colors, so it must be some additional explanation. And this happened just recently, and that is the fun of this work, because there is always something new. I was in Queensland in Australia, and I was doing demonstration of healing, and one of practitioners, she made photos. So you see the same wall, that there is nothing on that wall here. And here you can see something, it looks like a flying saucer, I don't know. And this light has a strange shape, because like if it was lamp, it would go like this. So we don't know exactly what it is, but it appeared on the photo. We didn't see it with eyes, but it was there. So that is it, and I will be teaching seminars. So on those little flyers, could you hand me the flyer? Thank you. Yeah, you can see the schedule here from next Friday, Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday all day, from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. is Tesla Metamorphosis 1 seminar, where you can learn how to do Tesla Healing Metamorphosis. So after finishing the seminar, you will be able to do healing on others, healing on yourself, to heal your pets, your plants, your food. But with food, don't do it for too long, because if you do it for too long, it can get cold. Just check whether you are asleep. Right. All right, so there is one more important thing that we do in Tesla Metamorphosis 1 seminar, and that is the short exercise of radiating love. Love is essential for healing, and also when we radiate love, there are minimum chances that something or somebody will attack us. So that is why I encourage my students to teach others to radiate love, because if we all radiated love, we would all live in much happier environment. From early age, I was talking about the power of love, but when I really understood what I was talking about was when they brought to me a young girl to do healing with her, and they brought her in a weekend house, so I didn't have a massage table, and I put her on a double bed. This girl was throwing her body all over the bed. She was holding for the medallion with Mother Maria and Jesus. Some teacher gave her for protection, I guess, and she had faces as if she was struggling with something, and with other hand she was like fighting with something, and it was really hard to watch this small body like this. And I spoke to her parents, and they told me that she kept on drawing some alien face with eyes without irises, and she calls it the gray. And she had attacks like this, and that was the reason why they brought her to me. So in the second session, it was the same, nothing better. But in the third session, I started radiating love, not just toward her, but also toward this, whatever was within her or around her, I don't know. And in the half of the session, her face was peaceful. She started smiling. And at that time, I was recording what were the experiences of clients, because some could tell you all films what they have experienced, and I have that recorded. She said that the gray had to leave because she was surrounded with too much love. She calls that alien the gray, and she said that he had to leave because she was surrounded with too much love. So that was another lesson for me and for all of us, we are truly powerful when we are able to sincerely love even those who we believe are our enemies. Love heals everything. So that is about the first seminar. You will also learn how to do distant healing, and you get a certificate, and you can work professionally as Tesla Metamorphosis 1 practitioner. You can do Tesla Healing Metamorphosis. The following week, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening, from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. is Tesla Metamorphosis 2 seminar, where you will learn how to do Tesla soul communication. And that's a really exciting seminar. For ladies, I suggest waterproof mascara, just in case, because very often there is a lot of emotions there. This Tesla soul communication is useful for clients, but it is equally useful for us practitioners, because the more we do it, the more we elevate our consciousness, and also it's a great way to learn more about ourselves. What are maybe our hidden fears? What are our desires? So that is why, we could find out what is our purpose in this life. And that is why, though it's pretty challenging to face your soul, you know how Jung said, humans will do everything, no matter how ridiculous it is, just to avoid to face their soul. But it's worth doing it. All right, so that's next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and on those flyers you have all information. And the following weekend, Friday night from 6 till 10 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. is Tesla Metamorphosis 3, where you learn how to perform Tesla light body metamorphosis on others.